doing?
I'm good, yeah.
Nice to see you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name's Jackie Whitsitt. I'm the mayor of Basalt, Colorado, the most beautiful place in the world, in case you can't tell. We are standing on the banks of the Roaring Fork River, and we've got lots of citizens here, elected officials, and especially our governor, John Hickenlooper, is here today. I'm not going to say too much, except that I'm really happy everybody could come, and I'm going to introduce John Ely, who's the Pitkin County attorney. He's going to talk a little bit, I imagine, about the project that they've been working on here at this location on the river for a while now. And so, with no further ado, John Ely.
Thanks, Jackie. This event and the kayak park and the water park associated with it has been a long time coming. In fact, it's been about 10 years since the dialogue first started between a variety of different community participants, fishing guides, river rafters, CDOT, Department of Wildlife, that's what they were back then, and a variety of other folks, including participants, of course, from the county and town of Basalt. The original idea was to try to do something and to address this stretch of the river, which was getting pounded. In fact, it was hammered significantly during the drought of '02. And we didn't want to miss an opportunity to reorient the town, especially a town like Basalt that is so involved in the river system, is so concerned about the rivers that flow through it for fishing, for recreation, and just enjoyment. We didn't want to miss an opportunity to utilize this beginning reach of the Roaring Fork as it comes into the town. So over the last 10 years, we've been pursuing this and trying to come up with a method for development of a water park here. And we think we've kind of got our arms around it at this point. We're hoping so anyway. What we have succeeded in doing is developing a conceptual plan for the development of the park, which actually will be downstream a little ways. And hopefully that will tie into the work that the town of Basalt is doing even further downstream, so that this turns into one nice reach of river that everybody in Basalt and everybody in Pitkin County and Eagle County and all of our visitors can come in here and enjoy. We're hoping that that can all be accomplished. It'll have to be developed with a final design, which will be vetted publicly through processes within the town of Basalt as well as Pitkin County. But at this point, we have our conceptual design in place. We have permits from the Army Corps in place. And as of yesterday, we have a decreed water right that will serve to call water through this reach in perpetuity for the benefit of the people using this reach of the river. For those folks here that aren't familiar with water court processes and water applications, they are often hostile. They bring together people with radically opposing positions and viewpoints into a forum to do nothing but beat on each other. And euphemistically, up in Aspen and Pitkin County, we refer to the group that opposed our application as the usual suspects. And that particular application that the county filed was set for trial, but that trial now will not happen. And what I guess I would mention in regard to that is that a variety of different people came together with a variety of different interests and a variety of different perspectives, and we were all able to resolve how the river should at least be administered through here in regards to the kayak park and the water park that would be developed. So we had folks from Twin Lakes to Glenwood to Aspen to Denver all participating in a stipulation that allowed for the entry of decree establishing this water right as of yesterday. And it's really rather a remarkable effort to think that those types of diverse views with the different charges to accomplish, whether it's provision of water for municipal consumption or non-consumptive use of water for recreation and the preservation of the quality of life that brought all of us residents here at one point and keeps us here. And so it's with I guess I would express a lot of gratitude to all of those participants and all of those people who represented the various tugs on uses for this river to settle down and realize a cooperative agreement that would propel us out of court and into a position of utilizing this water resource for a lot of different competing uses. And I would like to introduce one of the participants in that, which is our current chair of the Board of County Commissioners, who has been a supporter of the effort. And of course, without the Board of County Commissioners, this would not have moved forward. Our current chair, Rob Ittner, who'd like to address you guys right now. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'd like to start off by saying, driving down here this morning, up from Aspen area, I saw what I think was a golden eagle flying over the Roaring Fork River, and it's just those types of things that we experience here every day in the valley, that this natural beauty that brings people here. We're a firm believer, and I think I can speak for the entire Board of County Commissioners in Pitkin County, that the natural resources and beauty and recreation is essential to our economy, our way of life, our quality of life here in Pitkin County. Whether it be the pristine Maroon Bells that brings hundreds of thousands of visitors to our valley, whether it be the pristine Thompson Divide area for its natural beauty and wildlife up in that area of Pitkin County, or whether it be the streams and the water flows that we're trying to protect year in and year out. I'd particularly like to give an extra thanks to John Ely, our county attorney, who's worked so hard through the direction of the Board of County Commissioners to protect the water rights here, to protect the stream flows. And this is one project that we've been working on for a long time that really touches on so much of the quality of life here. The recreational use of the river is something that's essential, whether it be hikers walking by enjoying it, whether it be the kayakers enjoying the stream flows, whether it be the fishermen and fisherwomen that enjoy the wildlife that's in the river, the riparian areas of the river and all of that. So I'd like to really congratulate all the groups that came together to make this water right be a permanent fixture to our community. So thank you very much. And I'm not sure who's speaking next, but thank you. Oh, the Governor John Hickenlooper. Yeah, we're glad to have him here. Another fine restaurateur.
We need more restaurateurs in public office with that
Yes,
question.
I agree.
Look what you got done, with a lot of help, obviously, from everybody here. You know, when I was 15, my mother borrowed some money from her sister and sent me and my cousin up to a camp up in northern Maine. We ended up going on a 22-day canoe trip up in Ontario, where we went down a river system, shot some big rapids, and then came back up to a lake system. And forever changed my perspective on what it means to stand behind moving water. Certainly in Colorado, rafting, kayak industry is $150 million minimum a year. I think that probably it's easily double that if you really look at the indirect spending that comes along with it. I love the fact that here you're creating recreational in-channel diversion. How many people here honestly had ever heard of that before this project, began discussing? Mayor Whitson was the only person. But I think this is as we begin to create the Colorado's water plan and try to get people to look at multiple uses of our water. And how do we continue to protect those investments we've already made in places that have such incredible beauty? This kind of solution where there's a vision, but then also a lot of accommodation and compromise to get to a final outcome that I think is going to benefit everybody. And I think we'll create a precedent that will be valuable long-term to not just to Basalt, but to the whole state. So I'm here to speak on behalf to Mayor Ittner, Mayor Whitsitt, Commissioner Ittner, John Ely. Congratulations to all of you, to the other commissioners, to recognize that this is a great first step. And I do get to speak on behalf of the entire state from time to time, and in that role I say thank you. Yeah.
So there seems to be there's obviously a lot of support for using water for recreational uses.
Yes.
There also seemed to be a fair amount of support for Senate Bill 23.
Yep.
Can you just say why did you veto that?
So Senate Bill 23, and I think the process was pretty good. I think that there were a lot of compromises reached there for a variety of reasons that were not the Gail Schwartz, I thought, did a remarkable job of getting that through. But it became one of those polarizing issues that I think would have ended up tying into litigation and lawsuits for years and years. We certainly support the notion that we want to be able to have more in-stream flow and allow people that can demonstrate that the water that's not being lost to evaporation, that they should have a right to dedicate that to in-stream flows. We went to the loudest and most vocal opponents of it and said, wait a second, do we agree that this is a good vision? Well, we kind of all do agree, they said. I said, well, how about if we come back, and are you willing to commit to working with us to create a pilot that would resolve some of the issues and the attacks that were dividing everybody? And they said they would. And it seemed to us to put it off for one more year, although you hate to put it off in a year like this where we've got so much water. Certainly the timing couldn't have been worse. But I think long term, if you really want to have these things go forward, the more people you can get on the bus at the beginning, the better off, so that you don't spend however many years. How many years have you been working on this? 10 years?
10 years.
10 years. And I think we were looking at what might well have been 10 years of litigation on that as well. And better to try and let's get everybody together, and then once we all agree what we're doing, let's go a lot faster throughout, once we get everyone agreed, let's scale it more rapidly. And besides, I hadn't pissed anyone off for at least a couple of weeks, so I figured. Anything else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ken Ransford, and you mentioned that thousands of hours were spent trying to get Senate Bill 23, and I'll admit, those were a lot of my hours. And we've been working with the agricultural community and the Front Range interests for years on this issue, in my case since 2010. So they've been at the table the whole time. And what your veto did was it sent a message to us that when a tough issue is going to come up, we don't know where it's going to come out, and we're quite concerned here on the West Slope that the big, powerful interests on the Front Range, namely the 4 million people who live there, are going to dominate what happens in this Colorado Water Plan. So I brought to you something I wrote this morning. I've been involved in the Colorado Basin Roundtable since 2005. I won't tell you how many thousands of hours I've put into that. So today I wrote a summary of what I think could happen in Colorado in our future. And I have copies for people in the group here. Please pass them out. We have a choice. We could have Colorado that has bluegrass all the way out to Kansas, that has cities that spill into each other from Fruita to Ouray, and from Cheyenne down to Pueblo. And the way things are going in the roundtable process, it looks like that's what's going to happen, because we're far apart.
What are your facts?
What are my facts?
Yeah, what's happening in the roundtable process that makes you think that outcome's going to happen?
We're recommending in the Colorado Basin Roundtable that we go to a high municipal conservation target, which eventually would get us down to 120 gallons per person per day. The South Platte Roundtable is saying they expect we'll be at 200 gallons per person per day in 2050. We're really far apart right now. We've been talking.
Might as well give up then. My gosh, you're far apart. Don't be silly. Of course, people always start far apart. That doesn't mean you're not going to find persuasion points and common ground. I think you should give the water plan. I mean, the whole point of it is to get people having those discussions. Give it a chance.
I've been giving it a chance. I've been part of this since 2005. My concern is that after we saw with Senate Bill 23 getting vetoed on your desk after it had been passed by both houses, we're nervous that the Colorado Water Plan is again going to reflect the Front Range interests at the expense of the West Slope.
Hey, I'm nervous about a lot of stuff too, and I can't do anything about your anxiety. I apologize for it. But our commitment, when I was the mayor of Denver, in my first 5 years, we reduced the per capita consumption of water from Denver water by 20%, right? If some other city's done that, I'm not aware of who has. Every single discussion I've talked about in terms of the Colorado Water Plan, the first point of discussion every time is conservation, right? And not just conservation by cities, conservation by everybody. And figuring out things like Amendment 23 that allow there to be a benefit from, agricultural uses, finding, more conservative or more conservationally oriented use as well. I think, there's an awful lot of people that have been stuck in the same way of thinking on both sides around water for an awful long time and around the state. We're trying to break that down. I think we're making progress. I could dig out some conversations from, again, both sides where they're saying, well, I hadn't thought of that. That's possible. Oh, that hasn't happened before, but that could happen. And certainly we're not going to end up at 200 in the South Platte. I guarantee you we'll never end up at 200 gallons. I just can't imagine any governor or any mayor or any the mayor appoints a board to Denver Water. They're not going to end up at 200 gallons. Now, can they get that down as low as fast as we think they should? And that's where the conversation is, right?
We're saying we appreciate your leadership on this issue and we're looking forward to it.
Fair enough.
Okay, go.
I know I got to go.
Thanks, Governor.
I'll read this. I'll read the first paragraph like 10 million people. My God.
Thanks for being here,
Thanks for
supporting
coming
us,
out.
Governor. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming down. Appreciate it. Good to see you guys. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Keep up the good work.